Good morning, everyone. It is, I think it's 6 a.m. I have been up since 3 a.m. We have rain. Yes, my yard's starting to look like a small pond. Mm. And, yeah. And barometric pressure. Anybody else barometric pressure sensitive? As soon as the clouds start to come in and they get really tired and go into this, like, pressure-induced hibernation. Yeah, that's me. And I woke up at like 3 in the morning thinking, you know what? Yeah, let's take on the day. And here we are 3 hours later. Can't do shit outside. It's kind of too early to start making noise inside. I live alone, so it's not like I'm disturbing anybody, but, maybe the random mouse that seems to somehow find its way in here. Yeah. Old houses. They have them. So, anywho, welcome back. If you've entertained any of my stuff, yes, I have. I have kind of in-depth discussions about more of the psychological and analytical construct of society. I try to not really get involved with the politics type of thing. However, after I see too much lunacy in regards to one particular subject, I kind of come in and be like, okay, let's dissect this. So that the delusional can understand why it is those of us who are, technically normal don't agree with you. So usually my talks come off of, they're inspired by something that I see, a video or a situation that I run across, in my job and, things like that. And I was doom scrolling, trying to figure out why the hell I'm awake so fucking early on a Saturday morning, right? And, oh yeah, by the way, I'm really brassy and abrasive. So, if you're looking for examples on how to be that way, you're in a good spot. If it bugs you, you can go. I'm not worried about it. I don't get paid for this. I don't make money off of this content. This is kind of like therapy. Therapy for needing therapy and having had therapy, and anybody who's might be interested in, listening to someone talk their shit out. You might get something from it. Might not. Good times. But anyway, I was watching that clip, and it's like my favorite part of the movie. In all honesty, it is my favorite. And there's another favorite part in this movie, and that's when the professor discovers this kid's a genius, right? Like natural born genius. Anyway, Good Will Hunting, the bar scene. Fucking love that scene. There's some gold nuggets of philosophical or sociological construct within that dialogue that I think everyone, and if you've not seen this movie, it is deep. It is deep, and it is emotionally triggering, and I can give you I'm sure most of the population has probably seen it, but if you have not seen it, I highly recommend you see it. If you're of the Gen Z, you might want to watch this movie. Because you might walk out of there, or wherever it is you've seen it, you walk away from that movie after it ends with a little bit of cognitive dissonance as to, yeah, those people in that movie is my generation. And that is what we had to deal with. And that is who we are. A lot of us are walking around borderline geniuses. And everybody was like, you're a Gen Xer. No, the X means you don't know what the fuck you're going to get. Yeah. Poke that bear. See what happens. Anyway. So the bar scene where the guy was sitting there talking about, he's sitting there trying to impress the girl, right? And Minnie Driver, I think her name, the actress is. I love her. I absolutely love her hair. She's got the best fucking curly hair ever. Anyway. And the characters, he shuts the guy down by throwing in his face that he's, basically a regurgitation machine, and tries to impress people with his smarts. And it's not a natural smarts. It's a whatever he reads from wherever he gets it from kind of thing. And he tries to impress people with it. And he's got that, I'm fucking better than you attitude. Because he's college, right? And he's probably in Ivy League school. And I think the whole movie setting is based upon Harvard, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been Yale or Harvard, one of the two. Anyway, the byline inside the movie is about a bunch of heathenous kids who've been morbidly abused in such a way that is just incomprehensible. And because they weren't given the proper attention in regards, or they kept it secret, they've acted out their shame and their anger and their frustration into being little heathens. Also, in the respects of how they grew up, I think they were put in boys' homes or foster care or something of that regard, right? And they just friends who have been, they kind of cling to each other because they all know what kind of hell they've all gone through, kind of thing. So they have that common bond in it. And in the group, there's this one individual who is extremely special and gifted, who has experienced the same bullshit that these other ones. And he's been in and out of jail. He's mischievous, criminal mischief, crap like that. And on the grounds, on the psychological aspect of things, I sat there, as an adult now, but I saw this movie when I was younger. And it made sense to me then, even with the, young mind that I was. In the same regard as it makes sense to me now, having lived and experienced different cultural diversities just with inside America. And kind of throw back to that comment that I got on the one video. That is a full representation of someone who was, I can psychoanalyze it, having never even met this woman. Overprivileged, holier than thou attitude. Takes, judges the book by their cover. Spoiled brat, probably, doted over. Never had anything bad happen to them in such a way that it would reframe their way of thinking to be a little bit compassionate in respects to other people. Now, when I first discovered YouTube, I used to use it for like looking up songs for karaoke and, shit like that, right? The world of YouTube broadened while I was in Germany only because I had internet, but I didn't have cable. I had Hulu, but it's still not cable. And YouTube was kind of like the shorts type of version of cable, You had gazillion freaking channels to go through, all sorts of different topic and content. And some of it's educational, some of it's entertaining, some of it's, just gives you, inspires talent and ideas. And, it's just every topic under the sun. It's like the encyclopedia of the world is in YouTube. And then, of course, we go through the sociological and the political, derangement where they start censoring content, which it's like, why are you censoring that? People need to know this. It's like, and they probably disabled it. It was a three-hour long video that it was probably the best constructed documentary I have ever watched in my entire life that picks apart 9/11. It was incredible. And here I was, serving in the military in a foreign country, watching this 3-hour long educational, totally eye-opening presentation of like the layers. They covered every layer. It was like, oh my God, this is like the educational Neapolitan. It's like every flaky fucking layer there was to that whole situation was literally dissected, debunked, and covered. Oh, it was painful. I was angry. I was really fucking angry. Emotionally triggered. But then there was this element where there was a few of them that were still out there and they hadn't locked them down, or the people hadn't gotten, whacked off because of what they knew. I could not find that video ever again. It was disturbing. It was heartbreaking. Oh, thunder, thunder. Yeah, we've got some nasty weather above my head right now. This is kind of like a interstate highway of the wind. It's because there's railroad tracks, so they kind of keep it clean. And yeah, the wind comes right through my backyard. So yeah, I'm up with like basically barometric coma yesterday. Up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I had a couple of cups of coffee, chatted with a friend of mine from work. We're supposed to go out and do something today. And it was, watching shorts and doom scrolling came to this conclusion. So I had thought, I found a content creator a while back, and he was covering concrete. And he really wasn't showing a whole lot of what happens on the ground. He was just kind of like talking about how, and he was okay. I thought it was interesting, I was like, yeah, he's in a different company, a different state, He didn't put out a whole lot. Then, his content kind of died down. Well, I have a lot of older videos that I tried to construct on Blender to make them kind of like flary, whatever. And someone had messaged me on one of the very generic videos. It's like, where have you been? You know, because I have a lot of different hobbies. I love growing crazy stuff. Like, that's a pineapple. I got dragon fruits over there that look like my hair. Where'd the big one go? Is he back there? Yeah, he's back there. You can't see him. There he is. He's getting bigger. I don't know if you can see him. It's kind of dark back there. But anyway, back up there. So the that clip kind of inspired me to get on here and gab a little bit. And I know it's 15 minutes in, so you probably clicked off already. So, yep, to each his own. Don't worry about it. There's a lot to say in regards to college education. And considering what I've dealt with, you know, this will be the third PC that I have fired through the VA. And I'm going to talk about those in brief. Now, the first one was the one who did the medical gaslighting, trying to put me on a statin before she did any testing to verify whether or not I even need to be on one. My cholesterol was, you know, it was elevated, but it has always been elevated. And I've always been very hormonal. I also work in kind of a little bit of injurious job. Like, I get scratches and cuts and bruises, and, you know, I'll come home and I'll have a scratch on my hand and I don't know where it came from. Cholesterol is necessary to heal wounds. Okay? I'm giving that. Also was, you know, nervous, neurodivergent, anxious, you know, person who used to chew their fingernails off. Cholesterol is needed to heal wounds and to build hormones and all sorts of different cellular activity in the body. So it's kind of a requirement, and your body will make it whether you eat it or not. Okay? Anyway. And yes, if you get too much and your body can break it down and excrete it, it comes out your poop. Right? So she loses her mind over an elevated cholesterol that really isn't even that high. It's high, but it's not jaw-dropping. Now, this last one, this cholesterol level this last time, that was a little jaw-dropping. However, my practitioner is so clueless, this one I just fired, that when I told her, I said, you better get yourself an education before we even do my blood work on lipids. Because I don't care what the level is. Don't even suggest a statin to me. There are other ways. And if you don't know what those other ways are, then you don't need to be my doctor. No, she attempted. Anyway, she didn't attempt to do the statin though. But the first doctor that I had fired was predominantly because we got the carotid ultrasound done, and then we did the coronary artery calcium score. I did it. I paid out of pocket for that fucker. Got it done myself. Came back with it was a 2-digit number, under 20. For someone who has like this screaming high cholesterol, so they think. It wasn't really that bad. This last one was worse. She didn't even put in an order for that. I did it on my own because I got my education off YouTube. So, then I had requested an NMR after I figured this out, right? And after she had prescribed this statin, and I did not even pick it up from the pharmacy. I was like, I ain't taking this shit, right? And there's a lot of backstory as to why I'm like, lady, you can go fucking scratch, right? I'm at the counter checking out at the Women's Center, VA, and I get a phone call from this other clinic, this one that I hate. Anything to get away from this one, this nut job, right? I look at my records later on, and this fat ass Coca-Cola drinking, falling asleep when I'm trying to answer questions that she's asking me, statin prescriber, she calls me at home. You forgot to pick up your prescription. Oh yeah, I was in a rush. I just bullshit her, right? Anyway, you need to, take a baby aspirin and all this other shit. I'm like, this woman is out of her fucking mind. I get with this other doctor, and I ask her, I was like, she wants to put me on a statin. She's got the carotid ultrasound on, we got to make the appointment for it. I said, but I want an NMR. She doesn't, I don't think, she's an internist. I mean, she's supposed to know what this fucking crap is, right? After asking several times, she finally gives me the reasoning. Oh, we're not authorized to do that type of blood work. I was like, well, then find somebody who is. So she does, I go and pay out of pocket. Like, I can't even remember how much it is. It was somewhere between $400 and $700. So for the NMR through LabCorp. I am a pattern A. My cholesterol is big, fat, and fluffy. Now she says, your LP little a is really high. I said, I don't care about the LP little a. Well, maybe you should take the statin that your the other doctor had prescribed. I said, you just booked yourself a fire. Boo. I was like, yeah, I think we're done here. I said, if you have done any research at all, you know that statins do not touch LP little a. So I think we're done here. And I went and called patient advocacy. This is where, if you do your own education and you find out this information on your own via YouTube, 99% of it, or articles. I mean, you can go into WebMD and you can look and educate yourself. Like the thing about my thyroid panel never being done properly is because they never corresponded that to the high cholesterol. And it's still not done. And we're talking over 5 years. They still have not done it correctly. I have never, ever, ever had a TPO done. Not once. Not once. I have never had I've had a T-cell or I think my doctor had done a gene type of thing. The one in Cookville. She was awesome. I loved her. The only reason I moved clinics was because I moved, right? And yeah, they haven't looked at that. So they keep, I'm not in the gene marker category to be at risk for any of this. So she never pressed me for any of this other stuff. She's like, yeah, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Anyway, so that one got fired because of misinformation that came out her mouth and a suggestion that was like detrimental to my health. The first one, the Coca-Cola drinking fat ass, she put in my record familial hypercholesterolemia. She put a diagnosis on this cholesterol level, which really wasn't that extremely high. Without an NMR and without the physical characteristics of what one would demonstrate should they be diagnosed with that, because it comes out your skin. It's kind of not very pleasant or attractive in that regard. So anyway, I went to patient advocacy and I was like, you will remove that fucking diagnosis off my record unless that bitch wants to test everybody in this fucking family to have any authorization whatsoever to put that fucking diagnosis on my record. And it will be fucking removed today. There was that. Then we get this other one. I said, this is falsification of information after having read the research in JAMA and or JACC, knowing full well that statins do not lower LP(a) to even suggest that. Now she's out the fucking door. Find me somebody else. Oh yeah. We get an intern, apparently. Said, yeah, I'm going to be your... Nope, he ain't. I get some other female. I have no idea. I've seen her once. And then I got this nitwit who made a phone call to me. And apparently these two were her nurse practitioners, interns. I'd never seen this woman. And she had never looked at my records to follow the basic health, height and weight, age, blood pressure. She didn't notice that my weight went from 178 down to 137 in about 6 months on a ketogenic diet. No one talks about nutrition. She didn't notice that when I had expressed, she didn't look. From the time I came in, this time when she physically saw me. And took reference notes from the other practitioners who were standing in for her, I guess, that I had gained 30 pounds, and that was a concern. Was it a menopausal concern, or was it a metabolic trauma response concern? Side-eyed me. She side-eyed me, and then disregarded my concerns. But then wanted to make me an appointment with her to look at my crotch. Fuck you. Peace out. You're out the door. I have gynecological specialists for that. This kind of thing. You educate yourself. And that was one of the things I took away from that movie, Good Will Hunting. Is that guy can sit there and regurgitate crap from a book all fucking day long, but he hasn't got any kind of rational and or, what is that? Discernment, engineering of the information in order to even fucking apply it to real world shit. So my practitioner fucked up because she is practicing medicine with a prescription authorization in her credentialing, whatever. But she doesn't know jack shit about how the body reacts to abuse and trauma. She is not an ounce of psychological secondary education or continuing ed, because they have to do, you have to do continuing education type of stuff in order to keep your licensure. So you have to, actually attend some of this, take these courses to update your knowledge, because medical practice, dental practice, it's all changing all the time. New stuff comes out. It requires you to know the changes and or the new stuff via research, yada yada. Yes, apparently she hasn't delved into the psychology. Now, she's fucking military and medical. You would think with all the post-traumatic stress that we have running rampant with all these combat veterans, that woman would have taken it upon herself to apply herself to get some fucking education in psychology, whether it be PTSD or psychological and emotional fucking abuse, which technically is what puts people in check in the military, because that's what they use to get everybody scared to comply to the reg. Everybody act the same. What I had explained to her, she disregarded, and now we're here. You want to see a movie that basically hits home with you do not need a degree. You just need the gumption and the desire to learn, regardless of what your past or how people judge you. Judging the book by its cover. You could be wearing rags and be smarter than the fucking guy driving the Mercedes. That I can guarantee. I know for a fact because I've met them. And you know why they're in rags? It's because nobody understands how their brains work, because they're too fucking smart for the society that this world has built. Y'all take care. I hope I made sense there. Good luck to y'all. Have a great weekend. Peace.